All right, question number one. When, if ever, should an agent incorporate their business?
Okay, the first thing that when we talk about incorporating, the importance of a corporation should be analyzed by your attorney and also some inputs from your accountant. Why do individuals incorporate? And that could be in various forms these days with a regular corporation, an LLC, or different corporate devices. Oftentimes there is a tax advantage to doing that. The other advantage that could be out there is some insulation from liability that you may have if your business is run as a corporation. This is you as an individual agent along the way, and you may be able to protect yourself from potential claims that could be out there against you down the road for perhaps an inadvertent mistake or just a spurious claim that might be made, but you would have potential insulation from that via your corporation. From the general background on corporations, the important thing is that the entity itself has to be kept completely separate from your personal information and your personal doing business. So if you opt to go the corporate route, then you want to make sure that all of your earnings and all of your actions are going to reflect that corporation, so that ultimately you are going to see and receive the maximum benefit from the corporation. Corporations are not for everyone. That's why I would advise you to check with your attorney to see if you think it would be appropriate for you to incorporate. Also, as mentioned earlier, your accountant may have some inputs because it may have an impact on the way you complete your tax return. There is additional paperwork because now once you form a corporation in the state of Illinois, you have to pay renewal fees on it on an annual basis, and you also have to comply with any of the requirements of the state of Illinois. So again, it's a good opportunity for individuals to investigate. Whether it's going to work for them is going to be an individual scenario based on their particular circumstances.
Well, who should be incorporating their business? Is there when does it become an advantage, or does it ever?
The question was when does it become an advantage? And it does become an advantage for certain individuals that may eventually run into an issue. It's an advantage after the fact. In that if someone feels that they have some kind of cause of action against you, it's too late to incorporate after the fact. So again, it's an insurance policy that you're buying to a certain extent that will put your assets for your business purposes in a corporation there, and then those assets ultimately may be able to be attacked, but it would not extend the liability portion would not extend past the corporate assets, meaning that if you had a home in your personal name, which is typical, and you had other personal assets, and you did not want those to be potentially available for attack or open for litigation, then the corporation may provide some insulation for you in that if a judgment went against you or if there was some other issue that popped up, eventually you could collapse the corporation. In other words, terminate the corporation. It would have no assets in it at that point, and then you could save potentially your personal items, such as your home and other personal items that you might have, without having everything in your asset base open for potential exposure on that. So that's the reason why people put corporations together. But again, it's done usually in advance of an issue. If you do it after the fact, it's too late on it. So again, consult with your attorney, consult with your accountant. There are plenty of good reasons to do it. From a tax perspective, there could also be possibly some other advantages where you might be able to garner more write-offs via your corporation than you might as an individual. But again, we have to go back to your own individual particulars on it to make a determination as to whether it's beneficial for you.
Right. Is it only available to people who operate as independents, or can anyone working within a brokerage also do it?
Well, it primarily is going to be used for independent contractors in a corporation, and then the checks, when they receive their check as an independent contractor, would be written out to them as in the corporate capacity in their corporate name or in their LLC, and that's been approved by the state to be able to make those kinds of payments to individuals. So that's the typical way of doing it. Other individuals that are employees are under a different category, and that would be administrative individuals or support staff for the company. Typically, they're an employee, and therefore they would not necessarily need the protections of the corporation because they don't have their own business as that admin. They are an employee of the company, and then the company's protections that they might have in place would be there potentially to protect the employee, and the company would have certain liabilities and responsibilities on behalf of those individuals to make sure that they are covered under any type of company insurance on it, and that could be potentially for different occurrences that could come forward. Again. Could there be a theory where an employee would want to incorporate? There could. Again, the best thing to do would be to find out if there's enough benefit. It's a cost-benefit analysis. There may be benefit, but there may be an ongoing cost in order to do that and not really give complete protection for the individual along the way. So, again, I hate to keep deferring to the individual's attorney on it, but you do want to get good advice from someone that's competent in the field itself.
All right, fair enough. Moving on, question number 2. When do you know that you're ready to hire your first employee or assistant?
Well, there's different ways to approach the question of being an assistant. If someone is a licensed individual and they're going to assist you, then they have to be under the licensing of the brokerage itself. So myself as the managing broker, if you brought in a licensed assistant, I still have supervisory requirements over that individual, even if they're working in concert with you or with another one of our agents. That's on the license side. If it's going to be someone that's going to be an employee, typically that individual then becomes an employee of the company unless there's a corporate entity that's formed, and then they could become possibly an employee of your own individual corporation. And that's just a matter of preference, and it's a matter, again, of inputs as to which is the best scenario that's there. From the practical perspective, there is no timeline exactly when someone needs help in the business. If your business is growing and you feel you need some support, in our office, for example, we provide general support to the individual agents through our office admins, our office managers, our social media coordinator, yourself, and all of that is part of the package when you join Weichert Realtors All Pro. If you feel, or if an individual agent feels that they want to increase their business and needs specific support to try to help them increase their business, then they can bring in someone to assist them along the way. Guidelines on that, because I've experienced the need for personal assistance and additional support. In my opinion, when you hit somewhere in the neighborhood of around 20 transactions a year, that's where most individuals find that they may have enough critical mass and income to be able to start to look as to whether they want to hire someone to be an admin to support some of their marketing activities, including follow-ups, mail-outs, and all things that would be in that area. When you hit about 30 transactions or more, then typically, in my experience, that's a pretty goodly amount of transactions to handle just as an individual. And above that level, some individuals may want to come in and again support themselves in their own business with an admin. There's not really a specific number where it works. Some people may feel that at a lower number they need help. Some individuals may say that they think that they can handle it even at a higher number than I just mentioned, but it's not an exact science, and it just depends on the individual's capacity to be able to handle the number of transactions that they happen to be working on and processing. For the most part, the putting together the transactions and the ongoing servicing of those transactions is important. Where the assistant could help out is in the future marketing, and so keeping the business moving forward so that while you're fighting the fires of individual transactions, you'll be in a position that you can still be generating the activity levels that will create future transactions for you. And again, that would be the benefit of putting together a marketing plan and having an approach to do that.
All right. That's all I got today. Pretty quick one. So if you have any final thoughts, we can just go ahead and get those and wrap it up.
Good. No, I think we're good for today. Again, happy birthday, Rick! And again, let's remember on June 6th the recognition of our veterans that served in both theaters, the European theater, the Far East, and all of the other things during World War II. And let's not forget the others that followed, the Korean War, the Vietnamese War, and our ongoing struggles that we have across the world today, that are all the sacrifices that are made by our veteran base to be able to keep us safe at home in the United States. Enjoy your week. Thank you.